How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. I'm looking a little rough because I just came from the gym and threw some clothes on. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? This is our sidekick, our mascot, Fran, if you've never met her. She is our 14-year-old teacup Yorkie. She's a brat, but she always likes to be on camera. If you don't know me, my name is Mel. I am your 54-year-old chubby Italian best friend. I will be 55 in 15 days. Oh, I hate getting old. But anyway, I am the founder of something called the 6-Step Method. It is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. I'm going to share this really quick just to let people know that I am live. Give me. Where are you here from? Would love to hear in the chat. I don't know on here if you can comment or not, but we're going to get into it. What? I'm going to put the baby down. Okay, baby, go down. Okay. It's okay, Mama. You got to meet the people. All right. So, how did the journey start and what is the story? So, as I was saying, I am the founder of something called the 6-Step Method. This can be coupled with a GLP-1. You can do it after gastric bypass surgery. You can do it after you've had the sleeve. What it is 6 simple steps to a lifestyle change that will help you live a better life and take away the guesswork. Hi, Lisa. Good to have you, my first guest. If you can share this, Lisa, that would be great. I don't really know how this works, so we're going to learn it though together here on the old YouTube. So as I was saying, approximately 3 years ago, I had went on a um, this was probably the end. I would go with, hi, Larissa. It was like the end of 2022 when Monjero first hit the market. I went on Monjero. Like everybody was on TikTok and out there talking about, oh, I'm going to do this. So I was like, what is this Monjero? I don't know about you, but I've been a lifelong dieter, lifelong, every program you can think of, from 4432 when I was younger to Richard Simmons to Susan Powders to doing The Biggest Loser to doing Thrive, and I've done Beachbody, Weight Watchers, Tops, like you name it, I've done it, and I've never lost more than 20 pounds. Well, what ended up happening was 2022, I found Monjero on TikTok. So I was like, F it. If everybody else is going to do it, I'm going to do it too. So I jumped on the Monjero train and I was 53 at the time, 52. And I was not really losing any weight. But I woke up the morning before Christmas and my blood pressure was so low, I ended up being hospitalized. Got in the hospital. They couldn't get my blood pressure to go over like 61 over 30. They didn't have any reason. They didn't know why. Well, come to find out, the reason was because the Monjero not only keeps the food in your stomach and causes it not to dump, but also the medication. So I was on a time release medication and it was messing it up, the processing in my stomach. So what happened was I'm taking my blood pressure medicine like I'm supposed to, but my body wasn't processing it like it was supposed to. So I had too much blood pressure medicine in my body and they couldn't keep my blood pressure up. So the doctor informed me then that I wasn't able to take Monjero. And I left there and I was hysterical because we all know, what do we do January 1st? Everybody, almost like 90% of women, we all go on a weight loss journey. No matter how big we are, no matter how small we are, the first of the year is about change. So it's the big year, big time of year to lose weight and to start new behaviors. So I was going to be on the Monjero, however, I couldn't take it. So I was heartbroken. I'm not going to sit here and even pretend. Like I was literally devastated. I was like, everybody else is doing it, and here Mel can't do it. So after I got off my pity party, I decided to do something called the Daniel fast. If you've ever heard of that, it's biblically based. You eat like nuts, berries, no sugar, no processed food, whatever. And my 3 daughters, Krista, Caitlin, and Kira, decided to do it with me. Thank you, Lisa. We decided to do it together. Well, we did the Daniel fast for the 21 first days of the month, and January 21st, we got on the scale. My youngest daughter, Kiki, lost like 11 pounds. My middle daughter lost 8 pounds. Krista lost like 14 pounds. And I was like, yeah, let's get on the scale. And I got on the scale and wah, wah, wah. I gained 4 pounds. So I was like, dude, I used every profanity, every Italian swear word, everything you can think of. I cursed it out of my mouth because I felt like, how is it possible that I did the exact same program my girls did? I worked out as much as my girls did. But the difference was I'm 52. They're like 3 years ago. So they were like 30, 29, and 25 years old. So we all know the younger you are, your metabolism is a little bit different. So I come from the old school thought process of if you starve yourself, if you cut the calories, you'll lose the weight. Not necessarily true. They have found now in a lot of studies, watch this. Matter of fact, there's a huge study that came out about 3 years ago from UNC Chapel Hill here in North Carolina. And it was, they took two groups of women. This group of women, they had them, they all were on a GLP-1. And they had this group of women over here count calories and count carbs. And they had this group of women over here, hi Candy, just focus on, literally just focus on um, protein. So how much was your protein intake? Don't count calories, don't count carbs, no apps. And what happened was these women over here ended up naturally eating 450 to 500 less calories a day than these women who are counting calories and counting carbs. So one of the things they found is women who count calories and count carbs, it increases your cortisol level. So here we go. Here comes the 6 steps. So that night I went to bed. I cried. I cried like a baby. Like that's the only way I can explain it. Like I was hysterical. I was like, God, something has to give. I've been on a diet every since I was 9 years old. Can I get a witness? I've been on every diet in the world. And so I went to bed that night. I was hysterically crying. Woke up the next morning and I had a doctor's appointment. I see the most wonderful doctor in the world. His name is Dr. Ojabobi. He works at the Omni Clinic in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Now, if you're looking for a doctor who's going to kiss your butt and play games, he is not the man for you. He is from Nigeria and he does not play well with others, especially when you're not taking care of yourself. So, what happened was I went in, I weighed in. Here's the confession, I was 362 pounds at the time. So I sat in his office. I'm 5'6.5", by the way. And that's the biggest weight I've ever been since high school. So I sat there and I was like crying. He came in the office. Hi, nice to meet you. I was like, hi, nice to meet you too. And he's like, Melissa? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, yeah, you're big. I'm like, yeah, I know. So that's not a big shock to me. So we kind of sat there and he read me the riot act and he's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm eating, watch this. I was following all the rules. Hi, Rexa. I was following all the rules. I was eating under 1,400 calories a day. I was walking 3.8 miles a day, but I was still 362 pounds and I couldn't lose weight. And Dr. O looked at me and he said to me, Melissa, I said, what? He goes, what do athletes do when they try to lose weight? And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, what does an athlete do when they're trying to lose weight? I said, well, I was married to a heavyweight boxer. Every time he had to cut weight for a boxing event, he would focus on protein. He didn't starve himself, y'all. He would literally get and eat a whole big container of jasmine rice. He would eat like 2 or 3 pieces of salmon. He would have as much broiled vegetables as he wanted to. Meanwhile, at the ranch, here's Mel over here starving herself. So it kind of started to click with me, right? Thank you, little toilet. These glasses, I got like 8 pairs of them. I'm a little TikTok famous, or so they tell me. So they be sending me crap and asking me to wear them. So this is my this week glasses. I have them also in pink, green, orange, tiger stripe, and something else. So yeah, They're huge. Now, I ain't gonna even pretend now. Makes me look like a little owl, but I also think it makes me look thinner. Anyway, so I said all that to say this. So I went to bed that night. I cried. I begged God. I said, God, you have to give me something different. I can't continue to do this shit, right? I can't continue to act like this. I can't continue to eat like this. And so I woke up the next morning and the 6 step method was born. The first thing that happened is I got out of bed and went to go over to weigh myself, and I realized that God was saying to me, "Get over here, girl. Like, you don't have to focus on the scale. You should not be getting on the scale every single day. You should not be um, focusing so much on the number, and you should be like working towards converting fat to muscle." So that morning I did weigh myself, but for the last time. I found an app. It's a free app to download, and I will be happy to put it the down in the comments when I'm done. And by the way, if you're here, please subscribe. Um, please subscribe to me, and then show up for my lives. They're going to be at 3 o'clock, hopefully every single day, Monday through Friday. But I will put in there the app. It's actually called the Me 360 app, and it's completely free to download. I don't get any bonus for it. I don't get any money for it. I don't get anything from it. So with that being said, I downloaded the app that day and I did a body scan. Well, I was upset with the scale being 362, but I was heartbroken to find out that my body consisted of 61%, real facts. 61% was body fat. And I was like, okay, so this is not healthy at all, right? Like, obviously, by the numbers. So I got up that morning, and we as women are taught, I don't care if you are 15 years old or if you're 80 years old. We are taught to be in a calorie deficit. We are taught to starve ourselves, and we are taught not to eat. But the one thing doctors don't teach us and talk about is when you starve yourself and your body goes into starvation mode, not only does it create cortisol, that's that belly fat that we all get, it also creates a sense of starvation. So your body doesn't allow itself to lose. I want you to think about it for a second. Have you ever done like keto or been on a weight loss journey or a program, and you did everything you were supposed to do for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then at the end you weigh yourself and only lost 1 or 2 pounds? So you're like, F it, not doing this anymore. I'm just going to eat what I want to. And you go out and you get McDonald's and you go get a piece of pie and you drink regular soda, and you weigh in the next morning and you lose weight. It's because that little, what they call a carb cycle, sends your body out of starvation mode. So all that weight you could have been losing the entire time is now, coming off quickly, but then it comes right back on. So with the 6 step method, step number one is we do not focus on the scale. We focus on, how does your bra feel? How do your clothes feel? We weigh ourselves once a month. We scan ourselves once a month. Candy, can you put in my website, coachmellymel.com too, please, if women are interested in buying the book, or if they're interested in joining our group. Uh, there's a lot more to this other than just the 6 step method, and I'll get into that in a minute. So step number 2, I got out of bed. I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? So one of the things that I learned with step number 2 is you have to allow your body to do the work. The correlation I do on TikTok and with women all the time when I run coaching sessions is this. When we were younger, our parents controlled when we ate. For example, I am 54, so I was born in 1970. My parents at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I didn't decide when I ate. At 5 o'clock every night, my father would come home from work. At 5:15, we were eating dinner. Okay. At 5:15, we ate dinner. We were done dinner by 6 o'clock. At 6:30, we had a snack. After we had our snack at 6:30, then we were done for the night. There wasn't any I'm hungry. There wasn't any go eat some potato chips, have a bowl of cereal at 1 o'clock in the morning. we literally did not eat until the next day. So if you do like the math, let's say 6:30 to 8:30 we'll go, okay? That put us at 14 hours of not eating. And back then, we were healthier than we are now. Now, our moms messed us up. Our families messed us up. I'm going to get 100%. My mom gets upset when I say this because she's still alive. She's 79 years old. But like I tell my mom, you never let me decide when I was hungry. I don't know if there's anybody in the chat that knows how that feels. Have you ever felt like when you were younger, your mom or your dad told you when you were hungry, when it was time to go to bed? But the one thing they did right was to keep us eating within a certain period of, time. They call it now intermittent fasting. We call it a period of time to let our body do the work. So if you do the correlation and think of your body as a train, right? And you are the train conductor. So all day long when you're eating, like let's say 8 or 10 hours that you're eating, you're putting the food in and the train is running. But just like in life, we all have to take a period of time where we're not eating. Just like there's a period of time where you get off of work every night, there's a period of time you got to get off the train and let the train run itself. So what do? You stoke the fire on the train because you're not going to be driving it for a few hours. So in correlation to real life, what we do is we fuel the fire by fueling our body with protein, if that makes sense. So when you're getting ready to stop eating at night, you're going to eat a really huge high protein snack or a really high protein meal. Hi, Allison. You know, you're going to kind of bulk your fire. Think of it like that. So think about like if you live somewhere where it's cold and you've got a wood stove before you go to bed so you don't wake up and the house is freezing, you load up the fireplace with fire. It's the same thing for your body. You load your body with protein right before you stop eating for the night. Then you don't eat throughout the night. That's step number 2. There's a lot more to this program. And by the way, if you're interested, you can go to coachmellymel.com. If someone could put the website in, I don't know if it will let you. coachmellymel.com. You can order the book there. You can sign up for courses there. All kinds of good stuff that we have there. Or you can go to Amazon right now. If you're not comfortable going to my website, you can go to Amazon and you're actually able to order the book. Just look up the 6-Step Method by Melissa Nobles. You can have it on your front door tomorrow. It's a really great book. I don't have my copy here with me because I left it in my daughter's car. But it's got all 6 steps. It's got some recipes in there. And it also has a journal in there. So one of the things on the 3rd step, and this is step number 3, it is a safe website, but some people like a reputable, like, you know what I mean? Like Amazon for some people is a better move. And for those women who don't know me yet, it might be more comfortable. So step number 3, if anybody wants to write step number 3, I'd appreciate that in the chat. Step number 3 looks a little bit something like this, okay? Step number 3 is we're focusing on protein, which you're hearing protein everywhere. Everybody on every news media, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Lemonade, on anything that you're on, even on X, you're hearing people talk about protein, protein, protein. Well, loves, I'm the girl who brought it to you 3 years ago. That day I woke up and the 6 steps were born. I've been teaching women about protein for 3 years. I was doing these things before they were cool. So, with that being said, as a coach, and the 6-step method is not about giving up the foods you love. I can't say this loud enough. I'm yelling it to the people in the background. I need everybody to hear this. The 6-step method is not about denying yourself of anything other than sugar. We do not eat sugar. The sugar is the devil. I don't know how else to explain it to you. There is not a person in here or a person living that needs white sugar. White sugar has no nutritional value. It is addictive as cocaine, and it is not something that we should be consuming on a daily basis. They've also tied it to Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart condition. Like there's just so many things that sugar is not good for, and it's not natural. Sugar cane is natural, but stripping down sugar to white is not it. Brown sugar is not it either, actually. So we use something called allulose. So what I do in the 6-step method is I teach women how to introduce protein into the foods they love, not give up the foods they love. So how step 3 works is this. Step 3 works like this, is you will start for 21 days. We call it like 21 days hard. It's the first 21 days. It's non-negotiable. No sugar. You're eating during your eating window, a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day. You start with protein, you end with protein. You're probably like, okay, so I have to eat chicken for breakfast and salmon for bed. No. I have all kinds of recipes on here. If you scroll in my YouTube link, I have a high protein, sugar free French toast bake. You can eat that every single day. I'll teach you how to make protein coffee. A lot of you see that online where people make their coffee in the morning, and then instead of adding creamer or almond milk or oat milk, which have no nutritional value and no protein, we are adding a protein shake to our coffee. Now, I'm going to be very, very, very transparent. I like protein as much as I like my 2 ex-husbands. I don't. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the texture. But the one thing I can do to make it palatable is I can put it in recipes and I can put it in my coffee. So in the morning, like today, I made a TikTok video about this. What I did is I got a butterscotch Starbucks coffee pod, put it in my Keurig, made my coffee like normal, added a shot of espresso, added my allulose, and then what I did is I add 2 pumps of sugar-free Toriano's English toffee, and then I use a caramel protein shake. You don't have to get the expensive protein shakes. You can get Equate from Walmart. It's super cheap. And then you use it in replacement of your creamer. So I'm a coffee drinker, and I've been drinking my protein slowly but surely all morning till my coffee was gone, and now I've drank it. So I've already got in 30 grams of protein first thing this morning. I had 2 pieces of high protein toast with sugar-free Jif peanut butter on it, and so that was a total of, I think it was 52 grams of protein is how I started the day. Now, one of the things we talked about is step 2. There's a period of time where we eat. So I'm eating on an 8-hour window. So what does that mean? That means I start eating at noon, I stop eating at 8 o'clock. Why? Because when you're not eating during those other hours, like I told you, your train will run on its own. And just like it burns the fire in the train and keeps it going, your body will start taking your fat and converting it to muscle. Now, why is this so important? Let me tell you. Because fat, it takes up more room than muscle, okay? So fat, muscle. But here's the thing, especially those of you who are addicted to getting on the scale, a pound of fat weighs the same as a pound of muscle. Just like a pound of fat weighs the same as a pound of feathers, or a pound of pencils, or a pound of lettuce. A pound is a pound is a pound. So when you start the 6-step method and you're converting fat to muscle, why is that important? Let me tell you really quickly. Does anybody know in the chat why we want muscle? Why is muscle more important? Obviously, fat is unhealthy, right? Fat weighs on your body. Fat doesn't do anything for you. But what does muscle do? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. Muscle equals metabolism. Metabolism, muscle. Muscle, metabolism. You can move easier. Your clothes fit better. You are literally smaller. One of the things that we have with the 6-step method is we have a support group on Facebook with over almost 7,000 women, well, 7.6 thousand women in the group right now. And we call ourselves the Incredible Shrinking Besties because one of the things we do, right? One of the things we do is exactly, little toilet, you're 100,000% correct, right? Um, but here we go, right? So it's not by volume. So it's going to weigh the same, but it's not going to be as big, right? So I'm trying to break it down into layman's terms and make it down to a way that we can all understand it, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to convert that fat to muscle. So the first 21 days is about conversion, fat to muscle, fat to muscle. So watch how this works. So while you're converting your fat to muscle, your body is shrinking. So normal women would get on the scale, they would weigh themselves and be like, what the hell, the scale hasn't moved. Well, you may have converted 8 pounds of fat to muscle, but only are showing a 1 pound loss on the scale. On the 6-step method, the ladies here do not count it like that. The way we count it is we count it as a 9 pound loss because you have converted your fat to muscle. And over the last 3 years, many doctors have actually, um, many doctors have agreed with that whole entire theory, right? As maybe we shouldn't look at the scale. Maybe we should look more at, right? More at the body makeup versus the body weight, right? And we are taught in our society to weigh, 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 weigh. But that is not exactly the best interest of women. So that is a diet culture thought process, and we're trying to get away from diet culture. The other best part of the 6-step method is we don't count calories and we don't count carbs. We're mindful of our carbs, but we don't physically count them. What we count is our protein. As long as you're getting your protein every day, you're going to see the scale go down, right? You're going to see the scale go down in the opposite direction. Hey, Krista, come here for a second. Not out loud. Sorry, y'all. 1 second. Yeah? How? Do what? Krista's going to poke her head in here for a second.
Hi, everybody.
Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. Thank you for that, Krista, and your assistance. All right. So as I was saying, one of the things we don't do is we don't count calories and we don't count carbs. We focus on our protein intake, and once a day we allow ourselves something called an effort meal. What's an effort meal? An effort meal is a meal that you have that is kind of like a get out of jail free card if you're thinking of Monopoly. Um, It is a meal that when you are eating high protein and you see an ad saying the McRib is going to come out tomorrow, versus you getting hyper focused on, oh my gosh, the McRib's out. I can't have the McRib. Here's the McRib. Why can't I get the McRib? What we do is we take away that craving. We allow our body to have that effort meal. So that person is allowed to have once a day something that is not within the healthy eating realm, so to speak, or something that you've craved. So, what it also does is takes away, I failed. A lot of women, when they're doing a program or a lifestyle change, if they don't eat all their protein or they don't do everything right, the next thing you know, they're like beating themselves up, and then they're down the road eating Burger King and 2 Snicker bars and 2 Butterfingers and drinking a milkshake because I screwed it up anyway. Well, the way the 6-step method works is it's real life. So if you're in the grocery store, you're starving, you haven't broke your fast yet, and let's say it's a Wednesday and you decide to grab a Snickers bar. You just had your F it meal or your fuck it meal. You just decided to have that meal that is not within the protein window that you're trying to eat within. We also don't count any effort meal towards our protein intake. So a lot of women will say, well, I went and had a filet of fish sandwich from McDonald's, but I also had a chili and a sugar-free soda, and that was like 28 grams of protein. So I'm going to add that to my protein count. No, you don't get to add your effort meal as your protein count for the day. It's just not how it works. So again, we eat all fruits, all vegetables, but what we do is we add protein to the foods we love. I'll give you an example. If you're like Mel, I've been on every weight loss program in the world, every diet in the world, and I've never been able to eat apples. When I lost my first 17 pounds, I ate an apple a day for 30 days. I literally took, this is my favorite thing in the world, salted caramel, Okonos, yogurt. I take the sugar-free Smucker's caramel. I take a little bit of allulose and I make a dip out of it. Then I put more sugar-free caramel on it and I take a Granny Smith apple and I thin slice it. I will sit and I will eat it. The reason you can eat the apple is because you're introducing protein with the yogurt. So anything that protein has been added to is a go, as long as there's no sugar in it. Tons of recipes, tons of ideas, and as you come back and join me, I'll teach you those too. So that's step number 3. Y'all ready? There's only 4 of you, but are y'all ready for step number 4? Can I get a step 4 in the room? Is anybody still with me? Hello, Echo. Hello. Is anybody out there? Hello. I got rid of the little toilet. No one's talking. There we go. What's up, Allison? So step 4 goes a little something like this. You've got to hydrate. People always ask me, Mel, now minus this little thing I got to get taken off, and that's because I was raised in Upper Michigan, a little town called Kingsford. And what we used to do when the snow melted or when the snow was still out, but it was 58, 60 degrees, we would take our blankets, put our blankets in the area where there was no snow, and we would lay amongst the snowbanks, and we would go in the house and we would get olive oil. I would get my mom's really good olive oil from Italy, and I would sit out there and I would all over my face, all over my arms, all over my legs, and now I have a spot. So I have to get that removed. So with that being said, step number 4, normally you'd see my skin looks really great. Collagen and hydration. These are the 2 keys. Like the 2 things that I love more than anything is to stay hydrated and to throw a little collagen in there. Hydration, it's kind of now they're saying 100 ounces a day is not really what you're ideally looking for. You are looking for anywhere from 80 ounces to 120. It depends on how active you are. It depends on your kidney function. It depends on a lot of health and wellness things. So don't just assume it's a cookie cutter where you're like, okay, well, I've got to drink 100 ounces a day. Anything over 80 ounces a day is really good, especially in the winter when you're not sweating a lot or working out. But we don't want to, at the end of the day, realize we haven't drank our water and go drink a gallon of water, because there is really something that's real called water drowning, where you can drink too much water and then drown in your sleep. Your body can't absorb all of it. So it's super duper 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 important that you are drinking your water, but drinking it in moderation, right? Again, we don't want to chug before we go to bed. We don't want to drink a whole gallon in one sitting. We want to make sure that we're drinking it in moderation, but still getting our water in. A good time to drink your water is when you are not eating, during your not eating window. Some people will drink black coffee, black tea with a little allulose in it. I tend to just drink my water during that period of time. Like, I am definitely a overnight water drinker. Yes, I go to the bathroom a lot, but I take my magnesium glycinate so I can go back to bed. We'll get into that in a second. And then there's step number 5. Step number 5 is movement. Movement, movement. What does that look like, Mel? You want me to wake up tomorrow and walk 10 miles? No. We do everything in moderation. And a lot of workout and weight loss is here, here, and there's no gray. We are looking for a lifestyle change, so the gray area. What are things that you can do to increase your movement? What are things that you can do to make your body move easier and for you to feel better? One of the things I've found is I love to dance around my house. Um, Anybody have any ideas? What is something that you do out there to help you move more? Um, One of the things I've done is I made myself a movement menu, and I'm actually going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to make a whole video about it of how to take away the decision making of movement, but also to hold yourself accountable. So you do something called a movement menu because a lot of us women spend every single day making choices and making decisions, and we get a little burnt out taking care of all our family members and our loved ones and all the people that we know, that we forget to take care of ourselves. But if you have something like meal prepping, a lot of people like to meal prep. If you have something on your fridge like a movement menu, it makes your life a little bit easier. When you get up in the morning, you're making your coffee or your protein shake or getting ready to work, you go on your movement menu and you just pick out one or two things you're going to do that day. Maybe it's you're going to jump every time you go in the bathroom 10 times to get your lymphatic drainage going. Maybe it's I'm going to go walk around Costco today. Hi, Krista. Maybe it is you're going to walk your dog extra. Maybe it's you're going to start lifting weights. But you want to have a menu to pick from, just like you have meal prep to pick from. It sets yourself up for intentional movement, and it'll help you get your steps in and get your body moving. And we all know that the more you move, the more you convert fat to muscle. So, fat to muscle is what we want to do. And that helps expedite that. Again, there's a whole chapter in the book if you want to read further about it. But for right now, we're going to work on that tomorrow on here. Again, I'm here at 3 o'clock. On 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday, I'll be on here, and then I'll be at 8 o'clock on TikTok. So if you want to join me here tomorrow, if 3 o'clock works for you, I would love to have you. All right, so any questions so far? Does anybody take a moment of silence? I'm going to drink the rest of my water. And if anybody has any questions about step number 1 through 5, I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right, no questions. We are golden. Step number 6. Step number 6 is a really, really important step. Now, normally this is when you get into someone's program and they're like, "Hi, I need you to buy this. Go buy this product." So one of the parts of the 6-step method that is so beautiful is I don't product push. Not a multi-level marketer, never will be a multi-level marketer. I realized about 2 years ago into this, if I was a multi-level marketer, I would not be living in an apartment right now. I would be rich. But too many people base their success upon products, and it's not the products that got you there, it's you. Um, and so, with that being said, step number 6 is called supplements and medications. What does that mean? Number 1, if your doctor has given you a medication because your body needs it, for example, blood pressure medicine, um, or you need diabetes medication, or you need something, not cholesterol, don't take a statin, those are awful, it's causing too much dementia. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but just my thoughts and opinions, okay? But what you can do is you can make sure you're taking any medication. Maybe your doctor says you need vitamin D. Maybe your doctor says you're low in vitamin B. You can't get healthy unless you're taking the medications. And I'm going so far as even saying psych medications. I personally have PTSD. Um, if you don't know me, then you don't know my story. But my story goes a little something like this. My daughter passed away when she was 8 days old, and I have PTSD from it. So I take PTSD medication. I'm not at my best as a person, as a woman, as a mother, or a coach when I'm not taking my medication. So, part of step 6 is taking any and all medications your doctor is prescribing to you. The other side of that is twofold. One, 90% of women over the age of 30, so we'll say age bearing years, over the age of 30, or if you've had a child young, is we are magnesium deficient. You'll see it on TikTok, on Facebook, on everywhere. Everyone's talking about magnesium. I've been talking about magnesium for 3 years. Magnesium glycinate, not magnesium citrate. That'll make you go poo poo. I'm talking about magnesium glycinate. What is magnesium glycinate? Magnesium glycinate is is an enzyme that works in your body with over 300 different enzymes. 12 of those are heart enzymes. So if you think about it like this, let me give you an analogy. Salt is good by itself. Pepper is good by itself, but salt and pepper complement each other. You go to bed at night and you have low magnesium levels. And this is why it is, because we urinate out magnesium. That's how it gets out of our body. So let's go over here. We're drinking a lot of water. We're urinating out our magnesium. Most of us don't eat enough magnesium rich foods. So even when you go to sleep, or you're processing your food to the day, you're not going to have enough magnesium. So most of us are magnesium deficient. Hence why we have muscle aches and pains. Why you don't sleep through the night. I meet a lot of women over the age of 40 and they're like, I don't sleep through the night. I wake up 10 times. You are probably magnesium deficient. When we go to the doctor to get a blood test done, what they have found is your highest levels of magnesium are when you wake up in the morning, because your food is processed overnight and you have not been to the bathroom 100 times, or maybe you have, but you're not urinating it out. So when you go get your first test in the morning, people will get a test and they'll say your magnesium levels are great. However, magnesium glycinate, there's 3 different magnesiums. There's magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, and magnesium glycinate. The glycinate is what you want to be taking. You can go, do I have it on my page? Yes. Do I have a recommended product? Yes. Do I have a couple of recommended products? Yes. You can go to my Amazon and I've got a whole bunch of links there. But at the end of the day, whatever magnesium glycinate you do take, you need to make sure it's high absorption. You need to take it before bed. If you have anxiety, muscle aches, you're going to pain management, you are taking medications like benzodiazepines because you have a lot of anxiety, I suggest you take one at night before you go to bed, and you take one in the morning when you get up. If you take one in the morning when you get up, it will help relax your system, and it will help your pain management throughout the day. So, anyone who's on pain management should be taking magnesium glycinate, because just like hydration amplifies your pain, so does lack of magnesium glycinate. So, that is part of step 6. The other part of step 6 is this: a digestive enzyme. I cannot suggest this enough for 2 groups of people. One, if you're on a GLP-1, we'll talk about that in a second. And 2, if you do not have a gallbladder, or if you have irritable bowel syndrome. There's actually a bunch of people I recommend this for. So if you are a woman on a GLP-1, you struggle with irritable bowel syndrome, or you don't have a gallbladder, you need to be on a digestive enzyme. What does that mean? Well, let me explain it to you. So, if you're on a GLP-1, what happens is you eat, you lay down, you go to bed, and your food sits in your stomach. It's supposed to sit there. It's supposed to sit there so you're not feeling as hungry as often, and so you're feeling better. But what happens is when it's sitting there, it starts to ferment depending on what you ate. So when you get up, you'll notice you're having what they call sulfur burps. Like you'll be burping and almost tastes like egg. You'll have this awful burp that comes up. The other thing is women get extremely bad stomach aches, and also the food sits in and rots there. You see what I'm saying? So one of the things that you can do is you can take a digestive enzyme, and if you think about it like Pac-Man or like a garbage disposal, it helps break your food up, so when your body is ready to absorb, it will be little small particles, and it'll be easier for your body to absorb. So for those of you on a GLP-1, it's almost imperative. If you don't have a gallbladder, you are not able to process your food properly. What happens is when you have a gallbladder, it puts the stuff, I can't think, bile in there to break your food up, and the digestive enzymes naturally are put into your body. When you don't have a gallbladder, you don't have a way to create the digestive enzymes. One of the things I have found on the 6-step method is, if I had found a digestive enzyme sooner, I might have been more successful in losing weight. I'm one of those people who have to be on a digestive enzyme. Also, if you have irritable bowel syndrome, one of the things that I found before I started this is I never was on a bathroom schedule. I never knew when I was going to get sick. I would either be going loose stool, or it would be so hard I couldn't use the bathroom. I wouldn't use the bathroom for 3 times a day. My doctor said you should be going to the bathroom a minimum twice a day. Number 2, twice a day is the minimum. You really should be going every time you eat. So what a digestive enzyme does in the beginning, some women get a little bit of an upset stomach and loose stool. But once you start taking it every day like you're supposed to, what will happen is you will eat, and within an hour you will use the bathroom. But it's different than using the bathroom when you have irritable bowel syndrome, because you'll use the bathroom naturally. Like, I'll go in the bathroom, I'm in there for like 2 or 3 minutes. I do my number 2, I wipe, and I'm done. When you have irritable bowel syndrome, you're in the bathroom blowing the toilet out, you're sick, your stomach, whatever, whatever. So this helps make a balance in your body. Like we talked about earlier, the gray. We want the gray. So, with that being said, another thing that you can introduce in the 6-step method on the 6th step is fiber. If you are not going to the bathroom twice a day, get some prune juice, start some raisin bran. I never, ever, ever, as a lifestyle coach for 3 years, have said to any woman, get a laxative, because that's going to create a dump and then not use the bathroom, and then a dump and not use the bathroom. And ideally, again, we want that gray area. We want to eat and then naturally go to the bathroom. So when you're introducing fiber, make sure it's natural fiber. The more natural, the better off you'll be. And if you're in here right now, if you do not mind sharing the live to Facebook, to any of the groups that we're in, or any of the groups we have in common, I would appreciate that tremendously. Now, you're probably like, great, I got the 6-step method, I'm good to go. Negative Ghost Rider. So we have a step, it's called the 7th step. It's the unspoken step. When I launched the 6-step program, God gave me step number 1. We don't mess with the scale. Step number 2, there's a period of time we don't eat. Step number 3, 100 grams of protein a day or more. We don't count calories. We don't count carbs. We focus on our protein first, right? Step number 4, we're drinking our water. Step number 5, we're getting up and moving. Step number 6, we're taking our supplements. We're taking our magnesium glycinate. We're taking our digestive enzyme. We're taking fiber if we need it. But the one thing that we don't talk about in every program I've ever been on, whether it's Jenny Craig or it's Thrive or I'm doing Herbalife, it's always about the products and the sale. It's not about the mental health. One of the hardest pills for me to swallow in the last 3 years is to admit I'm a food addict. If you're a food addict, then in the comments, comment, I'm a food addict. I own the fact that I'm a food addict. Do you think about food? Does food consume your thought? Do you base days upon what you're going to eat? Do you go on trips and plan out your meals before you plan out your activities? Do you hyper focus on food? Are there foods you can't say no to? Are there foods that you become obsessed or compulsive with? Then you're a food addict. If you are a food addict, you have to figure out, right, Allison? We're food addict twins. You have to figure out the why behind the what. Why am I overeating? Why do I choose to self-sabotage? Why do I get 25 pounds off and then quit the program and go back to eating unhealthy? When you figure out the why behind the what, when you figure out the psychology, when you figure out why you're an overeater, that's when the pieces fall into place. Now, I offer a couple tools for that. At coachmellymel.com, CoachMellymel.com. I offer a 1 hour individual counseling session. It's focused on you, it's about you. I'm a lifestyle coach. I worked as a drug and alcohol and addictions counselor for 14 years. I'm not actively doing that anymore because I'm actively doing this. I can also help you come up with a 6 step plan, but really to drill down to why you have a food addiction and what steps you can take to live a better, healthier lifestyle. So that's one of the things I offer. Another thing I offer is camps. We are not going to have another camp until January 1st. Every year we have what we call the Chubby Girl Challenge Biggest Loser competition, and someone wins a big pot of money, a bunch of prizes, a bunch of gifts, but we don't compete by pounds on the scale. We compete on how much fat you convert to muscle. So that is one of the things that we focus on and we do. And that's coming the first of the year, which tickets for that will be for sale beginning of December. Another thing you can do is you can get the book. There is a 6 step method book. It's a 52-page book. And in the back of it, it's got a food journal, a water tracker. You can go to my website at coachmellymel.com and you can download the digital version, or you can order it directly from Amazon, whatever you choose to do. Another tool that we have, and you'll notice that when you get on the page, is we have a support group. And you're like, what's that? Chubby Girl Challenge, Chubby Girl Lifestyle, the 6 step method. It's called one of the 3 things. When I launched 3 years ago in March, what happened was I made a TikTok video. 5 million people saw that video, and 5 million people started to share my videos and follow me. I have 160,000 followers on TikTok. From that became a group of women. This is a women's only support group. And you can find us on Facebook. It's called the Sisterhood of the 6 Steps. It is completely free to join. Does not cost you a dime. There are 7.6 thousand women in that room to support you. Women like Allison, women like Candy, women like Lisa, women like Krista. Krista is actually a coach. So, and the reason she's a coach is she's one of my daughters. This isn't a multi-level marketing situation where you can buy coach positions. It does not work like that. So, with that being said, we have the free level. Then above that, we have what we call the roller rink or the VIP level. It's $5.99 a month. I couldn't make it any cheaper if I wanted to. $5.99 a month, and what it does is it gets you a next level support. What it gets you is a once a month all in on Zoom with a bunch of women and myself, and I speak. And we talk and answer questions and we have fun. But it also gets you access to all my recipes. It gets you access to a private group of women with a private chat room. Now, if you're feeling really froggy and you need real support, then you come up to the next level, which is called our HBIC, Head B Words in Charge level. Matter of fact, we just came back from Louisville, Kentucky this last weekend. We went down and we had a women's retreat. It was absolutely fantastic. We spent 3 days together, 2 nights in a mansion in Louisville, Kentucky. HBIC is about a group of women who are all across the United States and Canada. There's about 30 of us only right now, because we are very selective on who's allowed in the group. We meet every single Tuesday night, and it's a processing group. So we get together in a Zoom meeting, so it does not matter where in the country you are. It costs $20 a month. That's it. Or you can pay I think it's 170 for a whole year, and it gets you a support group of women. It gets you discounts off products. It gets you a Christmas gift from me every year, a birthday gift from me every year, and it's pretty much a group of women supporting other women. We are a huge group of women in a big age range. We go down as low as 40. We go up as old as 78 years old. So there is no woman who's watching this that can say, I'm too old to be part of it or I'm too young. Now, something exciting that is coming in 2026 for our camp January 1st. My youngest daughter, Kiki, she's 28 years old. She will be taking on a group of women who are under the age of 40 and who want to live the 6-step method, because we have found there are a lot of daughters of the mothers that are in the group and a lot of younger women who still need the same motivation, who are been damaged in dieting and diet culture by their mothers, kind of like I was. Anyway, I said all that to say this. At the end of the day, whether you choose to do the 6-step method or you don't, just know that you have a friend out here to support you. My name is Coach Mel. I am your 54-year-old chubby Italian best friend, and I'm here to support you through the 6-step method or anything you choose to do. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I'll be on TikTok at 8 o'clock, and I would appreciate it tremendously if you subscribe to this video, if you share this video once it processes to all of your social media so people can watch this. And always remember, nobody better than you. I have to caveat that at the end of the day, when you are questioning, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Do I deserve this? I want you to find a mirror. I want you to put your finger up to the mirror, and I want you to look at your fingerprint. And you're probably like, why my fingerprint? Because your fingerprint is you. There is no other man, woman, child, not your kids, not your father, not your mother, not your aunt, not your uncle, not your cousin. Nobody has your fingerprint. God created you by design. God created one of you, one fingerprint. Just like God created every snowflake to look different in some way, shape, or form, every human is created differently because he did his best work in you. So I said all that to say this. Always remember, nobody better than you. Be blessed, be amazing, and thank you for being you. You take care now. Now I got to figure out how